We are just over 2 weeks away from Georgia's 2025 season, and Kirby Smart is hoping several guys step up in a big way this upcoming season. He spoke to reporters earlier this week and talked about 3 guys specifically who are improving and still have a lot of room to grow, but maybe could have a giant impactful season this upcoming fall. We're going to talk about that and much more because one of the guys he talked about is a guy that Georgia fans have been patiently waiting to see ever since he got to campus. Kirby Smart gave an update on that player, another promising defender and one of the best players on Georgia's offense. So loaded video for you today. Again, we're getting closer and closer to the season. Make sure you are on dogpost.com for the latest and greatest Georgia Bulldog news. That's where the 5-star Georgia fans are. We've got a 5-star deal going on right now. So make sure you click the link in the bio of this video to make sure you get your great deal right now and become a Dog Post member. So the first guy I want to talk about is someone, again, Georgia fans have been waiting for this guy to emerge, and it's Ellis Robinson, the former 5-star cornerback, one of the top defensive backs, probably on the roster, still fighting for that number 2 cornerback job. But this is a guy who has the potential to be one of the best cornerbacks, maybe in the SEC and possibly across the country. He was a 5-star top 3 prospect out of high school for a reason, a guy that Georgia had to hold on to in high school. Everyone wanted this kid. He's from South Florida. The Miami Hurricanes were going to do whatever it took to land him. He said, no thanks. I want to go play for Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, and that Georgia Bulldog defensive staff. Didn't play a ton last year. We saw him a little bit, but this year, it seems like, from what we're hearing behind the scenes, that he is emerging. He's making more plays. He's become more confident in this Georgia system. And year 2, in many cases, especially at cornerback, that's when the light starts to come on for a lot of these cornerbacks. We have seen safeties play as true freshmen, right? Pretty recently, Malachi Starks, KJ Bolden. But rarely will you see a cornerback get out there and play a ton as a freshman. I think we barely saw Keely Ringo in 2020, barely saw Tyson Campbell in 2018, Kamari Laster, Eric Stokes. Those are guys who had to patiently wait their turn because, as we know, if there's 3 positions where Kirby Smart does not want to throw a true freshman out there, it's at cornerback on defense, quarterback on offense, and along the offensive line. Everywhere else, if you're talented enough and you can show that you know the playbook and you can play at a high level, you can find your way on the field as a freshman. Got to beat the guys ahead of you. But at cornerback, that's one of the last places where Kirby Smart's going to say, yeah, let's get him out there, right? Let's see what he's got. It just doesn't happen. So if you want to play cornerback at Georgia, and Ellis Robinson probably knew that, you're going to have to wait a little bit. And year 2 could be a case where he could really see the field. I think he's got a good chance. I say good chance. It depends on him if he wants to earn that number 2 cornerback job and beat out Daniel Harris, the returning starter there. But he's got the length, he's got the athleticism, the ball skills. He's sudden, he's twitchy, he's got great hips. He's technically sound. The guy was a can't-miss cornerback prospect. So the guy's not getting worse. He's only getting better. And it seems like he is proving to the staff that he can go out there and make some plays. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say about Ellis Robinson earlier this week. He said, we need Ellis to be the best version of himself. And if they get that out of Ellis Robinson, you're looking at a top 5, top 10 NFL draft pick because this kid checks all the boxes. He just has to get out there and start making some plays, but he has the talent and potential to do so. He said he's improved. He's working really hard. He competes in practice and can play physical. He doesn't always do it, so he needs to do it more consistently. He is not shy or afraid of contact, and he's got great ball skills. He makes plays on the ball a lot, and that's a big part of being a cornerback. You have to be sound in coverage. You have to make plays on the ball. You have to force turnovers. And if he can show that he can do that in practice, and right now he's doing it. Apparently he had a really good scrimmage this past weekend. This guy's going to see the field. So Ellis Robinson, definitely a guy who has a green arrow going up as far as him being a player and him possibly seeing a good amount of the field this fall. So Ellis Robinson, a guy that Georgia fans are hoping shows out. Looks like he's starting to do that. Another guy on defense that Georgia fans saw a decent amount last year, but he could have a monster second season as a sophomore this fall, is Chris Cole, former 5-star linebacker from Virginia. Really good athlete. He was a multi-sport standout, dominated on the track, on the gridiron. I think he can play some basketball, but right now he is a guy who just can't sit on the bench for much longer. He's versatile. He can play some outside linebacker, but I think he's made for Glenn Schumann's system. He does have C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson a little bit ahead of him on the depth chart. Those are the returning starters. But Chris Cole's going to play. He's already won over Coach Smart. Kirby's called him an alpha. Talked about him being one of those guys in practice that brings the most passion, fire, and energy out of anyone. And again, he's only been in the program for 1 year. This is his second fall camp. So it's starting to really click for him even more. Justin Williams is outstanding as well. We're told he's a freak, but here's what Kirby Smart had to say about Chris Cole. He said, Chris does a good job for us. He's very talented in different facets. He can stack back, play inside and back, or he can play on the edges. He can walk out in space and play the apex. He's long, he's rangy. But the number one thing is that he's a high effort player. He's a high IQ player. We need him to be a good inside backer. We need him to be a good third down factor. We need him to be a guy that can line up and play on tight ends because of his length. And he's given us that ability. He can make plays in coverage. He can get after the quarterback. He's a little longer and maybe a little bit better of an athlete that C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson are, but those two are dogs. Those two are bound for a big year. But Chris Cole, that's not a guy you can keep on the bench for very long because of his versatility and his ability to make plays in coverage, play in the middle of the field, play on the edge. He just finds the football. He's a football magnet. And I think he's going to emerge as one of the best linebackers probably in the SEC by the time the season is over. And I say that as he might not even be on the field for the first play on defense this year. So I'm not saying that kid's going to start over the two in front of him. I'm not saying that he's going to start at outside linebacker or anything like that. I'm saying the guy makes plays. He is very talented. I think he's a future NFL linebacker. And I think in year two, Chris Cole is going to see the field a ton and make a lot of plays. Georgia needs him to. Kirby Smart is hoping he can get even better. But right now, he is really, really impressive. So those are two guys on defense that Kirby spoke about. And then on offense, something that we've heard for 9 months now, consistently over and over and over, is Georgia's emphasis on improving the run game, if I can get my words out this morning. He knows they have to run the ball better. I know it. You know it. It was disappointing last year. It starts with Nate Frazier. I'm not, talking bad about the kid. He had a really strong freshman season. I'm not sure what more you could have asked for him as a freshman, but he's the team's leading rusher. But there's still room for him to grow and be a better running back. Georgia needs that out of him. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say about Nate Frazier this week. He said the biggest growth from Nate Frazier from where he was last year, another guy who got here this summer, last summer, is his knowledge and his pickups. Third down, pass pro, knowing where I can get in, when I can get out, when I have to stay in and protect, how to protect. The knowledge and understanding of that is not having to rely on the quarterback to tell you. And I think that's big. His confidence in his run and his ability to give effort and conditioning level is much better than it was in his first year. Thankfully, Georgia doesn't need him to carry the ball every single time. They've got a stable of backs. But when he's 100% and he's got his rest and he's ready to come back in, this is a guy who can catch the ball and give 100% effort on every single run. And the second he gets tired, they can bring in a hopefully healthy Roderick Robinson, a Chauncey Bowens, Josh McCray, who hasn't, we haven't seen a ton of him really this fall. He's got a nagging injury right now that he's dealing with, but, Cash Jones is an option on third down. And Dwight Phillips Jr., Bo Walker, a freshman who is going to see the field, right? They've got a stable of backs. Right now, they're all healthy, but it still starts with Nate Frazier. Can Nate Frazier be a DeAndre Swift type? Can he be a Noshawn Moreno? I'm talking about not just a good running back, but a really, really good one. I'm not comparing him to Todd, Nick, Sony. Those guys are on the Mount Rushmore of Georgia running backs. Garrison Hurst, Herschel Walker, that's the elite group. But right under that, Noshawn Moreno was outstanding, probably one of the more underrated running backs in program history. Crazy to say because he was, in the Heisman race to start that 2008 season. But Georgia's had so many good running backs come after him that the younger Georgia fans may not remember how good Noshawn was. DeAndre Swift was outstanding. If Nate Frazier can just get to that level where he's really, really good, doesn't have to be elite, but better than just good, I think that would be huge for Georgia's offense. He's, year two for him, understanding, pass pro pickups and understanding the best way to run behind a different offensive line, I think is going to be key. So he's only going to get better, and Georgia's offense has to run the football better. He's the lead dog. It starts with him. Kirby Smart knows it, and he said that earlier this week. So just 3 guys to keep an eye on. Nate Frazier, strong freshman year, could have an absolutely major sophomore season. Chris Cole could take that sophomore jump, expand his game. And we'll see about Ellis Robinson. Can he win that number 2 cornerback job, or will he be the first guy off the bench at cornerback? How many plays will he make? Big year for him in year 2. So just an update on some of Georgia's top players that Kirby Smart spoke about. You can read more about this over on dogpost.com for free. Make sure you're checking us out over on the website. Season's almost here. Fall practice is definitely here. Make sure you are on dogpost.com for the latest. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the next video.